Hi guys, it's Serf from Roadhouse Nation, and I'm here with the guys from Bert's Barracuda Harley-Davidson, and we're kind of give you guys a quick tour of all the bikes that we've got on display here at OCC Roadhouse Museum. This bike is the Comanche bike. It was actually modeled after a U.S. Army helicopter. I don't believe the helicopter is still in rotation, but it's one of the coolest bikes from a military theme standpoint, I think. Blacked out with a green paint scheme, and then of course it's even got the missiles underneath. The Fallen Heroes bike is one of my favorite bikes. There's so much detail on this bike, it's absolutely amazing. From the ammo boxes that feed the minigun to an actual AR-15, all the way to just the paint and of course the OCC sword. This bike is just, the whole package is just amazing. It's even got claymores on the back fender. So the NASA bike, the Discovery bike, this one's a really cool one. Again, the cool thing about these bikes is there's so much detail that you don't get just from seeing them on TV. So I really encourage you to come down and see them, all the way down to the spinners that are on each wheel. And every single one of those is an actual tail number of an actual space shuttle. You've got the planet on the gears here, and then you've got, of course, all of the NASA branding and the astronaut names as well. It's just a really cool bike. And then of course the tank. I mean, the tank's a one of a kind. The jet bike was the first themed bike. So this was the themed bike that started it all for Paul Sr. All the way down to the ammunition and the guns, the fins, the wheelie bar. Paul tells me this is actually one of the best riding bikes he's ever built. He put a lot of miles on this bike.
Welcome back to the conclusion of American Chopper Live, the build-off.
So this is the Biker build-off bike. And most people look at this and they're like, is this a snowmobile or what is this?
Some have questioned if whether or not that could even be considered a bike. Senior fans, what do you think?
And what happened was Paul was in a build-off with his son Junior and with Jesse James, and he wasn't really sure what the outcome was going to be, but he decided just to kind of go all out and make whatever he wanted to. It's electric powered, and it's got actual functional flamethrowers on the front. So definitely one of a kind. You're not going to find anything else like this anywhere else. The Christmas bike. Paul was an iron worker and did a lot of ornamental iron before he started building motorcycles, and you can see that in a lot of the details on this bike, from the sleigh runners to the fender with the reindeer fender and the reindeer antlers right here, as well as all of the different little touches here as far as the suicide shifter and all the way back to the back rack. The cool thing about this bike is it's got a tow hitch, and we actually have a sleigh that they made at OCC, and it hooks up to that. It's got a wheel kit, and Paul used to use this bike to deliver presents to at-risk youth every year. So really cool bike. This is definitely one of the heavier bikes as far as the emotional gravity that it has. Definitely one of my favorites. Paul built this as a tribute to the Vietnam vets that served and didn't come back, and were prisoners of war. It's got all kinds of details. Obviously a big theme on it is the barbed wire, as well as on the back fender you've got the actual names, some of the names from the wall. Just overall just an amazing bike. The fire bike. So this is probably the best known bike out of everything he's ever built. Paul built this as a tribute to all the firefighters that lost their lives at 9/11. This bike has so many details and so much meaning, from the actual piece of the tower to the oxygen bottle, the custom carburetor in the shape of a fire hydrant made by Da Vinci, the pipes, everything, and the paint. It's just an amazing bike, as well as the siren, everything else. And what happened was, after he built this bike and the New York Fire Department came up and were there for the unveiling, they left him a patch and they left him a helmet. And as word got out about this bike, the firefighters in New York started coming and leaving patches, and then firefighters from around the country started coming and leaving patches, and then from around the world. And so I've actually 13 different countries up here on the patch wall, and we take patches every day. Almost every day I add another patch to this wall or two, and I've even got all of our local county guys represented over here, as well as some of their memorabilia, helmets, hoses, and things like that that were all donated for the wall. The green web bike. So this was built in the second season, and this was probably the culmination of the whole web bike series. You had the Spider-Man bike and the Black Widow bike, and then this bike where they took everything and all of their creativity that they learned about doing web bikes and kind of rolled it into this one. Probably one of the coolest things about this bike is that a lot of people don't notice at first, but it's missing the gas tank. But it's not actually missing, it's back here on the back fender. So, not the most comfortable bike to ride. It's probably not going to go very far with a gallon of gas in it, but definitely doing what it's supposed to do, which is look awesome. So this bike is probably my favorite. I would ride this bike all day, every day. Dave Mann was a prolific illustrator for Easy Rider magazine, and Paul got with him and designed this chopper as a tribute to him. Unfortunately, while they were finishing the bike, Dave Mann passed away, but they were able to present this bike to his widow right after it was unveiled. Hey guys, so obviously there's a lot of cool things to see here. We've got over 30 years of Paul's memorabilia, as well as over a dozen bikes that were all made on TV for the show American Chopper. We've got retail, we've got amazing food. We know you're gonna come to see the bikes, but you're gonna come back for the food because it's just amazing.